Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully and welcome back to some more Tormented Souls action. Which, I suppose at time of uploading would probably be around the Christmas season. Whoopee! Who doesn't love a wonderful horror thing during Christmas? It's why movies like Black Christmas did phenomenally well, apart from the fact that it was kind of broadcast alongside The Godfather. I think it might have been one of the... was it the sequel or was it the original? Whatever, the point is, we're in the mausoleum where spooky things are happening, like bodies receding into the walls. A trick I think they used before in the morgue, and a trick they use again here a fair bit, so I have to wonder, who exactly is taking the bodies? Are they being fed to their god? Or are they just, there for creepy effect? I mean, they're not reanimated corpses, so there are no zombies in the area, so who knows? But regardless, since we are firmly within the Pollux sex territory, yeah, we're going to be getting a lot more detail on Bertram, Noah, Ian, Christina. I forgot what the rest of Cletus's kids' names are, but, you know, we're getting a lot more mythos and, well, a rather creepy area to explore. It's pretty much two areas in one here. Again, we have the, mausoleum, which was where Bertram, often grieved about his dear departed wife, but we also have a second area, the sewers, filled with stinky, rat-filled feces, and, just a bunch of other stuff that seems to be hiding hidden secrets. But it is also here where we'll finally come one step closer to finding Anna. Which will probably be the name of some drama movie that'll win tons and tons of awards and will be seen by, I don't know, most people who have an interest. Except me! But in any case, yeah, now I have to think of interesting things to say. And I suppose one thing I could talk about, even if vestigial, is, some of the complaints about Caroline's design, actually. I know she tends to be very, sort of floral and very feminine. I like the design personally, but there are also a lot of people who feel like it's a little bit too... I don't want to say anime, but a little bit too haunting ground, where Caroline was clearly designed to be... I don't want to say... well, again, in one of the more pragmatic senses, beautiful... first, rather than practical, which I suppose is why the game gave her the secondary outfit of, jeans and a brown jacket, but... yeah, I don't know. I'm not really too sure why people complained about that. I guess they thought it wasn't entirely realistic, although I think it does kind of pay dividends to Caroline's personality, because again, she is very artsy, floral, and does enjoy... well, at least... whether or not she enjoys it's subjective, but it does seem to have a very large passion and degree for, art, artwork or whatever. So, I suppose the design fits, really, for me. Although, then again, I'm not really too sure if that was just complaints about character design, or whether or not people just wanted more unlookable costumes for the game. Which, I suppose they could have done, but, I don't know, I suppose that's whether or not they update the game, or have downloadable content or some shit. Who knows? Yeah, but again, regardless of such, mysterious. Yeah, in terms of what you're going to be facing a lot down throughout this area, a lot of Frankenwalkers, obviously. This is where the cattle prod comes in really handy, because again, it doesn't instantly kill them, but it does knock them down. So again, if you've been saving up your ammunition, this is pretty much the best time and the best sorts of enemies to use them on. There is another enemy variety coming in later in the game that I think is also susceptible to it as well. But yeah, the Frankenwalkers tend to have their biggest weakness being, well, electricity, which is kind of funny considering the fact that they look like they've been revived by lightning, but... oh well, electricity is nothing to be scoffed at. But again, it's still worth following the same combat schema of, weapon switching, trying to manage your resources, and making sure not to use too much of your shotgun ammunition, because it is probably the most useful weapon in the game, but at the same time, go a little bit too trigger-happy with it, and, well, you're gonna be up shit creek, which, again, I remember on my first playthrough, I actually was, around this point. Like, I had to pretty much just resort to hit-and-run tactics, or, try and go, okay, run down there, solve the puzzle, get out of here quickly, because, again, at this point, I wasn't really, conserving a lot of my healing items and my ammunition as much as I should have been, so yeah, I was, quite tense in this segment, and again, that's just the thing about survival horror that I just absolutely love. Like, I mean, again, when you know what you're doing, it can be a pretty smooth experience, but at the same time, when you're in those situations where, you know, you've barely got a dime between you, again, you're just fucking on the edge of your seat, and I love stuff like that. It's a situation you put yourself in, and you gotta dig your way out of it. Anyway, this is Noah's diary. So again, if it's not Bertram behind these events, it was him? And yeah, he seems to have a bit of, well, I wouldn't say an ego about himself, it's probably a mixture between, grief, hubris, and, I suppose, agony over his dead brother's death, although not that it was really his fault. I mean, since it was pretty much all in utero, but I suppose the result of all of this meant that because his twin brother died, he couldn't inherit any of the powers of the, well, any of the powers that would have been given to him by the rituals of the Tismet tribe. Because again, bloodline is very important, and because there was no twins to share it with, I suppose, I guess that meant that Noah was somewhat seen as, well, I mean, even though he was a priest by this point, I guess from his perspective he saw himself as, well, damaged goods. Oh yeah, by the way, that's a little picture of events to come. Final Bossian encounters. But yeah, anyway, back to Noah. I suppose his obsession with twins and the fact that he let his cult down and his beliefs asunder, I don't know, I guess that might explain why he was probably so harsh towards his daughter Maria, because again, he probably wanted twins so he could do the ritual. She was an only child, so then he was like, grrr, I am so angry, so rather than, I don't know, going with my wife and doing it again with another attempt at twins, I'll beat her up and rip the skin off her back because God and Jesus or whatever. Anyway, this is Christina, Bertram's dearly departed wife and, well, Anna's grandmother, who was sadly never seen. Yeah, we get absolutely no detail on what Christina was like other than the fact that I suppose she might have been an anchoring influence for Bertram, I suppose maybe giving more of the familial feel. I mean, again, I'm not really too sure how involved William Wildberger was in regards to the cult practices. He doesn't seem to be too much, apart from what he discovered later on in his life, but yeah, it's a curiosity, really. But anyway, this leads us even deeper than the mausoleum, and yeah, this is also where William Wildberger followed Bertram down the first time. Although I do have to wonder, though, like, I mean, was this area more furnished, or whatever, back in the, you know, back when William was young? Because this place seems like a bit of a shithole, and I mean, if I was William's age when following my dad down to see my dead mum, I'd probably be a little bit scared shitless. So, yeah, I probably wouldn't follow them. But in any case, doesn't this look familiar? We're back in the sewers, eh? I don't know why I'm doing a crew voice from Jack 2, but, yeah. I really like the musical piece here, by the way. Very ambient, very atmospheric, which can honestly go for Tormented Souls soundtrack as a whole. Like, I mean, it's got some really brilliant ambient pieces. The horror music is a bit hit or miss. Like, I mean, I enjoy the Tormented Soul, that is to say, the Danny DeVito creature. Again, I like the musical stinger for that. The general combat theme, though, that you're, well, hearing right now, or will be hearing once we take on the Frankenwalker, I mean, it's a little bit comical because it's pretty much going down, you know, really going on the whole fucking action thing, but, you know, again, that's probably the only real dance script I can really think of. The rest of the soundtrack, though, I think is, again, well suited to the areas it's in, and very atmospheric, so, yeah, my props to the composer. You made a bellissimo soundtrack, and that's Italian, you guys are from Argentina. Bueno? Yeah, that'll do it, for Spanish, what limited shit I know. Anyway, more of Bertram's diary. Again, I suppose another reason why the cult was also getting restless was because of the fact that Bertram wasn't willing to sacrifice his little granddaughters, and the fact that they were also running out of babies. So, which does kind of make me wonder, how many women did they have indoctrinated in this cult? Were they willing participants? Were they, well, that's actually a lot more darker now that I think about it, because, I mean, considering how dedicated they are, I can't imagine there would have been a lot of willing participants, or even if they were. Well, I mean, you can only really push your body through so much before, you know, it's gonna give in, so... Yeah. Remember all those bodies in the mausoleum? Well, that probably paints a darker picture. That... Fucking hell, the subtext of that is actually kind of unsettling, so, again, that might just be me, like, fan speculating, but goddamn, that just added an extra layer of horror to the proceedings. Even if, kind of understated, so... Well, understatedly? Whatever. It's also really cool when we... Well, cool and also kind of horrific when we take a look at Anna's diaries, because... Yeah, the longer she's been locked up in here, the more she's been, well... slowly losing her mind. Again, she seems to be psychically reaching out to somebody. Somebody with a large mirror. So, yeah, either she was looking for Emma, or she found Caroline instead. Very interesting. But yeah, she's also going, quite mad, because she dreams of strangling the cleanlier version of herself who's living, well, by comparison in the lap of luxury. Meanwhile, Anna's forced to eat rats and just suffer dirty sewer water and very little sunlight, and, well, she's pretty much growing weaker by the day. Again, it would have been very interesting if we could maybe experience some of this. Again, I don't know how a gameplay segment probably would have done this, but again, like maybe like a little DLC episode as, you know, from Anna's perspective of the whole thing. It could have been interesting, but again, I guess that probably would have been more heavy on the story side of things, so... And I mean, given Tormented Souls' very lack of, you know, animated cutscenes, even, you know, very stagnant character models just stand here while the dialogue plays. I suppose maybe the developers either... I wouldn't say lack the ability, but probably just don't have the resources to do that kind of thing. But anyway, we've almost completed her diary. Tee-hee, hoddle-ha, aren't we sneaky little chums? Reading people's stuff, personal thoughts. Anyways, onwards to new adventure. Was there a Frankenwalker in there? I don't remember. I think there might have been, or it might be something that respawns later on. Whoa, holy shit. Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot about this. I actually stood there just so I could, yeah. I never actually had that glitch happen to me before. I tried to recreate it just then, but, holy shit, that is now the thumbnail of this video. Yeah, that's now the thumbnail of this video. I need to think of an interesting title to go along with it, but, I'll think of something. Rest assured. I mean, I will say this about Tormented Souls. Like, I mean, it is stable for a majority of it, but you do get the occasional, hiccup, so to speak. Like, I mean, nothing that really interrupts your gameplay experience and, well, will leave you scrolling madly like this, which, is damn near the final entry of her diary. Actually, I think it might be the final entry of her diary, so, yeah. Anna, you have my deepest sympathies. But anyway, in terms of Tormented Souls and, glitches, again, there was only one other one that I can really specifically remember happening to me. The first of which was, well, basically, like, when you're up near a stairs, like, you try and do the 360 turn, no, not 360, the, 180 turn, and, Caroline will pretty much, like, do, like, this little hop jump, and, yeah, that's pretty much the only other glitch apart from the camera seizure thing that I just saw then. I don't know. I mean, the game apart from that is just pretty stable. I mean, I suppose apart from very minor technical issues, like a couple of parts ago when, you know, you saw the hop-along clipping through the staircase. But again, apart from that, it's technically stable. More than most modern games made today, from the AAA industry. Oh, yes, I went there. Stop me now, because I'm on a rampage. Yeah, but anyway, the sewers, despite being a pretty linear series of hallways, again, they do have a few specific things for you to pick up every now and again, so yeah. I mean, apart from lowering the water level, we also see the end game right there. A bunker, but it appears to be sealed. Why is that? Well, we'll find out soon enough, because, yeah, that bunker down there is pretty much our final area of the game. Oh, I thought there was a puzzle item that we needed to get. But yeah, to kind of spoil things in terms of a puzzle, we basically have a safe combination puzzle mixed in with a little bit of TV. But yeah, it seems bodies were also dumped down here where they would never be found. Kinda curious though, I mean, this doesn't seem like the kind of place where sewer workers would, I don't know, go down for maintenance, or I suppose maybe the cult kept them away from there? Or they were in the cult and just didn't care? Heck, whatever. Anyway, let's take a look inside this little thing here. It seems to have a security system. So let's show 'em our eyes and, let's see what happens. Oh dear, seems we're gonna need 2 people to open it. Although really, considering the fact that it's a rather advanced security system for a bunker that existed way back in the day, so what kind of stuff did the cult have access to? I don't know, it just seems bizarrely high-tech for... I guess maybe it would have been installed in the aftermath, perhaps? Although considering how events unfolded back in the 80s, I'm not too sure... Whatever. It's really more there to serve a puzzle, and I guess maybe the Pollock sect maybe had a few more funds. In kind of like a Vincent kind of way from Silent Hill 3, where he was their treasurer, and... Well, I guess whatever other sects of the, you know, the cult might be out there in the Tormented Souls universe, maybe they were responsible for installing such lavish security systems? I don't know what to say, really. But anyway, we're just beating around the bush, getting a few more things here and there, and then we're gonna get into puzzle territory. Or at least, more Revelations territory. Come on, get your shine on, bitch. Good, you're finally having a good rest. Actually, I think this just leads back to another area of the game. What is it? Yeah, it seems my memories are about as fuzzy as anybody else's. I mean, the visual design might be a little bit murky, but again, you generally can tell where you're going. Keyword being for the most part. I mean, again, I would say that the game design is at least solid enough so that, again, you're not going to be wandering around aimlessly. But yeah, this is really just more for the sake of spelunking, getting items, and buggering off under the morning sun. Well, more specifically, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing anything, like, diary-related, because... Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I got all the entries I could need, and, yeah, we're gonna be getting, the final one for Anna. Actually, no, the final one we get a little bit later. But, the penultimate one. After she went completely fucking schizo, and now this is pretty much, Anna's final goodbye. And it's rather recent, 1994. So we were too little too late, so it seems. But again, the short and sweet of this, the long lengthy diary entry, again, I'm leaving it for a very long time for the benefit of the viewers who want to read this or pause the video or whatever, but... Yeah, basically, after being incredibly weakened and, of course, the idea that somebody's being summoned back to the mansion... yeah, basically, Anna doesn't want to see her twin sister go through the same shit that she did, so she basically cut out her eyes with a scalpel, and, well, is seemingly dead. Or is she? Do-no-no-no-no. I mean, it's entirely possible that she could be locked inside the bunker, because, well, let's just say whoever's behind all this is probably planning for every eventuality, and unlike Master Xehanort, who was, a bullshit villain, yes, indeedy, it seems that, well, this guy had a vast amount of time to plan his every move, so... Yes. Again, it is also very tragic and sweet in the way that, again, she doesn't want Emma to suffer the same fate that she did, so... Yeah, a bit of a heroic sacrifice on her hands. I mean, it does mean that the cult will never gain access to, well, the bunker, although... Yeah... So again, the bunker is pretty much the security wall between their god and, well, you know, reality, safety, the reason why the world probably hasn't been fucked up from, I don't know, the 80s to the 90s. But since we now live in the 2020s, yeah, the world is saved! And this is the last we'll ever hear of Anna Wildberger. Goodbye, me old lass. Oh no, by the way, take a look at that safe combination right there. The safe handle in this room itself is broken, but this requires a little use of the mirror dimension. And yeah, this is pretty much the squalid hellhole where Anna's been living. Poor child. Can't open it up, it's rusted shut. How unfortunate. And it seems that Anna has left us a message.
Emma, don't come to the vault. Save yourself from hell. It's a warning for Emma, one of the missing twins. It may be possible that one of the girls is inside the vault. I must find a way to get in.
Wait, hang on a second. So she's telling Emma not to come to the vault, but she wrote a message inside the vault, and the only way that Emma would have known that Anna wrote the message is if she came to the vault. Well, she was kind of delirious and mental anyway, so fuck it, I can kind of cut Anna a bit of slack. But anyway, light up the torches, and things might seem a little bit bizarre. Well, doesn't that look familiar? So, let's enter the Mirrorverse, and I'll see you dudes and dudettes next time. Bye-bye.